He grabbed the doctor by the collar and slammed him against the ER wall. "Save him," Kang Min-jae said coldly, "or this hospital will not exist tomorrow." Gasps filled the hallway. Nurses froze. Security hesitated. And then Amara Johnson stepped forward. "Let him go." Her voice was steady, controlled. Min-jae slowly turned. "Who are you?" he asked quietly. "To command me?" She walked closer. Not intimidated. Not shaking. "The nurse who decides whether your son lives." Silence. If you love intense Mafia storylines with powerful female leads, subscribe right now, like this video, and comment, "I'm ready," because this story is about to explode. Min-jae studied her. No fear in her eyes. Interesting. He released the doctor slowly. "Then do your job," he said. The boy lay motionless on the stretcher, skin pale, breathing shallow. Amara moved immediately. "Warm fluids. Heated oxygen. Clear the room." Min-jae remained. She looked at him. "You too." His eyebrow lifted slightly. "You dismiss me? You're distracting my team." For a second, it looked like he might refuse. Then he stepped back, but did not leave. "I will stand here," he said calmly. "And I will watch." "Fine," she replied. "Watch quietly." The monitor beeped erratically. The boy's body trembled. "Come on," Amara whispered while adjusting the oxygen mask. "Stay with me." Min-jae's jaw tightened. "His name is June," he said. Amara froze for half a heartbeat. June. The name pierced something deep inside her. But she pushed the feeling down. "June," she repeated softly, focusing. "You're safe." Min-jae watched her closely. Too closely. "You've done this before," he observed. "I'm a trauma nurse." "No," he said. "I mean with him." She ignored that. Temperature. 31 and dropping. "Push warm saline now." June's heart monitor suddenly dipped. Beep. Beep. Slower. "His pulse is crashing," a nurse shouted. Min-jae stepped forward. "Fix it." Amara didn't look at him. "I need silence." The room fell deadly quiet. She began compressions. "Stay with me, June." "Stay." Min-jae's breathing grew heavier. For the first time, fear cracked his armor. "Don't you dare die," he muttered to his son. Seconds stretched. Then, the monitor steadied. Beep. 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 Stronger. The team exhaled. "He's stabilizing," the doctor said. Min-jae closed his eyes briefly. When he opened them again, the softness was gone. "He will live?" he asked. "Yes," Amara said firmly. "If no one interrupts his recovery." As if summoned by fate, shouting erupted outside the ER. One of Min-jae's men rushed in. "Boss, they tracked us." Min-jae's expression darkened instantly. "How many?" "At least 6. Amara's stomach dropped. "You brought enemies here?" "I brought my son to survive." Gunshots echoed faintly down the corridor. Patients screamed. Nurses panicked. "This is a hospital," Amara shouted. "It is wherever I stand," Min-jae replied calmly. Another loud bang shook the building. Min-jae pulled out his phone. "Handle it," he said into it coldly. "No witnesses." Amara stepped toward him. "No witnesses?" He met her gaze without blinking. "Anyone who threatens my blood disappears." Her heart pounded. "You can't turn this place into your battlefield." "It already is." The door handle rattled violently. Amara grabbed a metal tray and wedged it beneath the knob. "Help me move him," she ordered. Min-jae stared at her. "You still command me?" "I command anyone in my ER." Something almost amused flickered in his eyes. They pushed June's bed toward a back corridor. As they moved, Min-jae studied her profile. "You left without saying goodbye." She stopped. "What?" "You disappeared." Her heart began racing. "I think you're confusing me with someone else." He stepped closer. "No." His voice lowered. "Amara." Her blood ran cold. "How do you know my name?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he asked quietly, "You don't recognize me?" She searched his face. Scar near his jaw. Colder eyes. Older. Harder. But the voice. The way he said her name. Memory struck like lightning. Min-jae. 10 years ago. A Korean medical student. Kind. Ambitious. Soft hands. "No," she whispered. "You're not him." "I am." Gunfire echoed again. His men shouted orders outside. But in that narrow hallway, it felt like the world stopped. "You vanished," she said, voice shaking. "You stopped answering calls." "My father was murdered," he replied. "Our enemies found out about you." Her breath caught. "They threatened you. You should have told me. And let them use you against me? You decided for me." He leaned closer. "I became dangerous so no one could touch what is mine." Her chest tightened. I was never yours. His eyes darkened. You were. June stirred weakly. Both of them turned instantly. Min-jae's expression softened for 1 second, then hardened again. He has your eyes, he said quietly. Her pulse thundered. What did you say? He stepped closer. You were pregnant when you left. Her world tilted. That's not possible. You didn't know yet, he continued calmly. 2 months. She stared at him. No. I found out after you were gone. Her breathing became uneven. You're lying. He gestured toward June. He is your son. Everything inside her shattered. If you're still watching right now, comment part 1 below. Because what she discovers next will destroy everything she thought she knew. Her knees nearly gave out. That's impossible, she whispered. Min-jae's gaze never left her face. Look at him. She slowly stepped toward the bed. June's small face looked peaceful now. And suddenly she saw it. The curve of his lashes. The shape of his mouth. Her hands began to tremble. You took him from me, she whispered. I protected him. You erased me. I kept him alive. Gunshots stopped. The hallway fell quiet. Min-jae's men returned. It's handled, one said. Min-jae nodded without looking away from Amara. Her eyes filled with tears, but she refused to let them fall. You don't get to walk back into my life like this, she said. I never walked out, he replied coldly. You ran. Her voice rose. I ran because you became a criminal. I became feared. That's not something to be proud of. It kept my son breathing. Silence. Heavy. Unresolved. June shifted slightly. And in that moment, Amara realized something terrifying. The most feared mafia boss in the city was her past, and he had no intention of letting her leave again. If this has you hooked already, like the video right now and subscribe, because part 2 will push this story into darker territory. They knew where I was. June's fingers twitched. Amara rushed to his side instantly. He needs rest, she said, adjusting his blanket. Stress could trigger another drop. Min-jae stood at the foot of the bed, arms folded, watching her with that same unreadable intensity. You care, he said. He's my patient. He's your son. Her jaw tightened. Don't say that like it's a fact. It is. She turned sharply. You expect me to just believe you? After 10 years. Before he could answer, another man burst into the room, slightly injured, blood staining his sleeve. Boss, he said urgently. This isn't over. They're regrouping outside. Min-jae didn't blink. Let them. Amara stared at him. Are you insane? This is a hospital full of civilians. Bringing him, Min-jae replied calmly. They want me distracted. And you are. His eyes flickered briefly toward June, then back to her. No, he corrected. I'm calculating. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. You need to leave. I'm not leaving my son. You staying here is putting him in more danger. The tension between them tightened like a wire ready to snap. If I walk out, he said quietly, they storm this building. If you stay, they attack it. He leaned closer. They won't attack while I'm inside. You're gambling with lives. I always win. Her frustration boiled over. You haven't changed at all. His voice dropped. Neither have you. She scoffed. You don't know me anymore. I know you never tolerated injustice. And I still don't, she shot back. Including you. For a brief second, something dark flashed behind his eyes. You think I enjoy what I became? I think you chose it. He stepped closer, invading her space. I chose power because weakness killed my father. She swallowed hard. And what has power done? She whispered. Made you untouchable or alone? Silence. Heavy. His men shifted uncomfortably behind him. He didn't answer. June stirred again, eyelids fluttering. Appa, the boy whispered weakly. Min-jae moved instantly to his side. I'm here. Amara watched the interaction closely. June's eyes slowly focused and landed on her. Who's she? He murmured. Min-jae's gaze flicked toward Amara. This is Nurse Amara, he said evenly. June studied her. You sound like the lady in my dreams. Her heart skipped violently. What? She whispered. June's breathing remained shallow. I see her sometimes, he continued softly. When I'm scared. Min-jae's jaw tightened. Amara felt tears threaten, but she forced control. Dreams can be comforting, she said gently. June's small hand reached toward her. Without thinking, she took it. Min-jae noticed. Every detail, every instinct, every connection. Before anyone could say more, loud sirens blared outside. Police. Amara exhaled in relief. Finally. But Min-jae didn't look relieved. He looked annoyed. You called them? He asked. I didn't have to, she replied. Gunshots in a hospital tends to do that. His expression hardened. They will complicate this. They will protect innocent people. He stepped closer. They will ask questions. And you don't like questions? I don't like answers on record. The hospital administrator rushed in, pale and shaking. What is happening here? He demanded. Min Jae didn't even glance at him. The administrator turned to Amara. Is this because of him? She hesitated. Min Jae watched her carefully. This was a test. If she exposed him now, police would swarm him instantly. If she stayed silent, she protected him. I'm asking you, Nurse Johnson, the administrator pressed. Her chest tightened. She looked at June, at the frightened child, then at the man who had shattered her world twice. Yes, she said firmly. This is because of him. Min Jae's eyes darkened. Police officers entered seconds later. Hands on holsters. Step away from the patient. One officer ordered Min Jae. His men tensed instantly. Min Jae raised a hand slightly, signaling them to stand down. I am not a threat here, he said calmly. The officer scoffed. That's not what we hear. Amara stepped forward quickly. He's the child's father. That doesn't make him innocent, the officer replied. Min Jae's gaze slid to Amara again. You could have stayed quiet, he said softly. You don't scare me. Maybe not. He leaned closer, so only she could hear. But you should. Her spine stiffened. Police began questioning staff. The administrator whispered urgently with officers. One detective approached Amara. Ma'am, we need a statement. Min Jae's eyes never left her. She felt the weight of his stare. Later, she said quickly. My patient is critical. The detective nodded reluctantly. Min Jae's voice lowered again. You still protect people before yourself. She met his gaze coldly. And you still destroy everything around you. A phone buzzed in his pocket. He checked it briefly, then looked back at her. They've taken one of mine. Her breath caught. And I don't tolerate losses. Fear slid down her spine. What does that mean? It means, he said calmly, this isn't finished. June's grip tightened weakly around her fingers. Don't go, the boy whispered. Min Jae looked at his son, then at Amara. His next words were slow and deliberate. I will end this tonight. You'll start a war, she said. I already did. Police escorted him toward the hallway. But before he stepped out, he stopped, turned back. And Amara? She didn't answer. You don't get to disappear again. Her heart pounded violently. He walked away. And somehow, the room felt colder without him. If you're still watching, type Part 2 in the comments right now. Because what he does next will make her question everything. Amara stood beside June's bed long after Min Jae left. Her mind raced. Pregnant. 10 years ago. Disappeared. A child she never knew. Tears finally slipped down her face. A nurse approached gently. Are you okay? She nodded automatically. I'm fine. But she wasn't. Because deep down, one terrifying truth settled in. If June was truly her son, then Kang Min Jae wasn't just her past. He was her unfinished future. And men like him didn't let go. Especially not of what they believed belonged to them. Outside, engines roared. Somewhere in the city, retaliation was already beginning. And she knew one thing with chilling certainty. This wasn't over. Not even close. Like this video if you're ready for part 3, because the final part will change everything. Engines roared outside the hospital like a storm gathering force. Inside the room, June's breathing steadied, but Amara's heart refused to. She stood frozen beside the bed long after Kang Min Jae walked out under police escort. He had said he would end this tonight. And men like him didn't make empty promises. If you've made it this far, pause for 1 second and hit that like button. Stories like this only grow when you show support. And trust me, this final part is where everything explodes. A nurse rushed in, breathless. There's chaos outside. The police are blocking off the street. Amara nodded. Keep this wing locked down. Her hands trembled slightly as she adjusted June's foreline. Her son. The word echoed in her mind. 10 years ago, she had fainted during a night shift. 10 years ago, she had been sick for weeks. 10 years ago, she had been heartbroken after Min Jae vanished without explanation. And 10 years ago, she never followed up on the pregnancy test she was too afraid to take. Her knees felt weak. A sudden vibration buzzed in her pocket. Unknown number. She answered. Amara. Her breath stopped. How did you get this number? I never deleted it, Min Jae replied calmly. His voice sounded different now. Colder. Surrounded by noise. Sirens. Engines. Shouting. What are you doing? She demanded. finishing what they started. You said you wouldn't bring war to my hospital. I'm not, he replied evenly. I'm taking it away from you. A loud crash echoed through the phone. Her heart pounded. Min-jae, stop. Silence on the other end for half a second. You said my name, he murmured. This isn't the time. It never was, he replied. She gripped the phone tighter. You don't get to act like this is romantic. People are going to get hurt. They already are. Gunshots rang through the speaker. She flinched. Min-jae, they targeted my son, he said, voice turning icy. There are consequences. Her chest tightened. Violence won't fix this. It prevents the next attempt. Before she could respond, the line went dead. She stared at her phone in disbelief. Minutes passed slowly. Then news alerts began lighting up hospital screens. Warehouse explosion downtown. Gang confrontation. Multiple arrests. One critically injured suspect in custody. Amara felt sick. He meant it. He truly meant it. A doctor entered quietly. The boy is asking for you. She hurried back to June's side. His eyes were open now, clearer. Are they gone? He whispered. Yes, she said gently. You're safe. He looked at her carefully. Appa always says that. Her throat tightened. Does he? June nodded faintly. He says no one can hurt me. She forced a small smile. He tries. June studied her face again. Why do you look sad? Children noticed everything. I'm not sad, she said softly. Just tired. He hesitated. Are you mad at my dad? The question pierced deeper than any accusation. She didn't answer immediately. June's small hand squeezed hers. He scares everyone, he whispered. But he's not scary with me. Her chest ached. People are complicated, she said carefully. Appa says the world is dangerous. And do you believe him? June thought for a moment. Yes. That answer broke something inside her. Hours later, the hospital slowly returned to uneasy quiet. Police presence remained. Staff whispered constantly. And then the doors opened again. Kang Min-jae walked back in. No police escort. No visible injuries. But there was blood on his cuff. Not his. The entire hallway went silent. He walked straight toward Trauma 2. Amara stepped out before he could enter. You're not coming in like that. He looked at her. Like what? Covered in war. His expression didn't change. It's finished. For tonight, she challenged. For good. She studied his face. You killed someone. I handled a threat. That's not an answer. His eyes darkened slightly. You want details? No. Silence stretched. Then he stepped closer. They won't touch him again. At what cost? At the necessary one. Her voice trembled with anger. That's your solution to everything. It works. Until it doesn't. His jaw tightened. You think I don't know that? Then why continue? Because if I stop, we die. The words hit hard. We. Not I. We. She noticed. You still talk like we're a unit. His gaze softened only slightly. You were never separate. That's not your decision to make. Before he could respond, June's voice called weakly from inside. Appa. Min-jae moved instantly past her. Amara followed. June smiled faintly when he saw his father. You won, the boy whispered. Min-jae crouched beside him. Yes. Are we safe now? Min-jae looked at Amara for a split second. Yes. June looked between them. Why are you fighting? Neither adult answered. June's eyes slowly closed again as sleep pulled him under. Min-jae stood. You'll need security, he said calmly. This hospital has security. Not like mine. She crossed her arms. I don't want your men here. You don't have a choice. Her anger flared. Don't say that to me. His voice lowered dangerously. You are connected to me now. I didn't agree to that. You don't have to. The audacity of it stole her breath. You can't just decide I'm part of your world. You already are. She stared at him. And what if I refuse? His gaze became cold steel again. You won't. Her heart pounded. You don't control me. He leaned closer, voice almost a whisper. I don't need to control you. Then what do you call this? Protection. She laughed bitterly. You call violence protection. I call survival protection. She stepped back. I won't raise a child in blood. His expression didn't waver. You won't raise him alone. The words stunned her. You don't get to dictate that. He is my son. He is also mine. Silence filled the room. A silent war between them. Finally, she spoke quietly. If he is my son, then you stole 10 years from me. Min-jae didn't deny it. I kept him breathing for 10 years. Tears filled her eyes despite her effort to stay strong. You don't get applause for that. I'm not asking for it. He reached into his coat, and pulled out a small object. A silver necklace. Her necklace. The one she lost the night he disappeared. You left this, he said. Her hands trembled as she took it. You kept it. I keep what matters. Emotion slammed into her chest. You don't get to act sentimental after tonight. I'm not sentimental. He stepped closer. I'm inevitable. The confidence in his tone was terrifying. If you walk away again, he continued, they will find you. That sounds like a threat. It's reality. She looked at him long and hard. The boy she loved was gone. In his place stood a man carved by violence and power. Dangerous, feared, unapologetic, but still bound to her by blood. She whispered, what do you want from me? His answer came without hesitation. Stay. The simplicity of it hurt more than a speech would have. And if I don't? His eyes darkened once more. Then I protect you anyway. Her breath caught. You can't force me to love you. I don't need love. Then what? Loyalty. The word echoed between them. She realized something chilling. He wasn't asking for romance. He was claiming family, claiming blood, claiming permanence. And he would never stop. Outside, dawn began to break. Inside, everything had changed. June stirred softly in his sleep. Amara looked at her son, then at the man who ruled the underworld without remorse. I won't become like you, she said firmly. I don't want you to. Then what do you want? He looked at her steadily. To stand beside me without fear. Her voice was steady when she answered. I don't fear you. A pause. Good, he said quietly. Because in that moment, they both understood something powerful. She didn't fear him, but she also didn't belong to him. Not yet. And for the first time in years, Kang Min-jae realized something unsettling. The only person in the room he could not control was her. If this story kept you glued until the end, hit that like button right now. Subscribe for more emotional, dramatic Mafia story times. And comment below, should she stay with him or walk away forever? Because one thing is certain, Kang Min-jae doesn't lose. But love? Love might be the one battle he never prepared for.